Hey, how you doing? It's your man Freeman Fields, aka the Black Innovator. We're going to deal exactly what is the difference between praise and worship. We're going to start off talking about praise, right? Praise. Praise is an outward expression of our love and admiration that's done with with your mouth. It's a verbal expression of your love for God, right? Or your you know, admiration for who He is. We're going to start. Luke 19 and 37 talks about Jesus when He made his triumphant appearance uh, into the city of Jerusalem. And it says, and when He was come nigh, basically near, even now at the descent of the Mount of Olives, the whole multitude of the disciples began to rejoice and praise God with a loud voice. See, it's a loud voice. See, you praise God verbally with your verbal expression. Praise is a verbal expression, right? For all the mighty works that they had seen. 38, saying, blessed be the King that cometh in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven and glory in the highest. And some of the Pharisees from among the multitude said unto him, Master, rebuke thy disciples. They wanted him to stop praising Jesus, as the Messiah, because they felt like it was blasphemy, right? Verse 40 says, and he answered and said unto them, I tell you that if these should hold their peace, and the stones will immediately cry out, right? So Jesus was saying that if they don't cry out and praise me, basically, like I say, it's a vocal expression. So if the disciples and the people don't, then the rocks will cry out, right? Well, this lets us know the difference between praise and worship, because anybody can praise or anything can praise, but not anything or anyone can worship. Worship is a form of admiration and love for just who He is, right? Not everyone can worship. Everyone can praise. But you just read it where Jesus said even the rock will cry out. So they got this song back in the day, say, never would a rock, take my place, right? Because you can truly praise God and your heart not be towards Him, right? It doesn't require any dedication. Doesn't require any full love or commitment or love from us to praise God. Matthew 15 and 8. This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me, right? So that's just like I said, you can praise God with your mouth, but your heart be nowhere near Him, right? Now, the difference is worship, right? Worship is a whole nother level. Like I said, everybody can't worship. John 4 and 23, it says, but the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship, right? So this lets us know right now that everybody can't worship, especially when He talks about the rocks crying out. But how do we know? Hey, because rocks don't have a spirit. So therefore, He's only talking about the true worshipers. Now, worship to me, I call worship a worship, right? A worship, because worship is a vehicle. It's a vessel that takes you directly into the presence of God. You see what I'm saying? When you get in worship, it's like setting your GPS towards heaven. When you allow yourself to get into true worship, now it takes time. It takes time because, there's a process to worship. Now He said, enter my gates with thanksgiving, enter my courts with praise. So you can start off with praise and thanksgiving. But when you advance to the level of worship, oh my God, it takes you to another level. And how you've truly arrived, because the ultimate destination of worship is to bring you directly in the presence of God. So I often say worship is a warship. So when you're warring, because you got a war in the spirit. You got to fight on that ship to be able to allow that vehicle, that vessel, to usher you into His presence. Right. So how do you know that you've arrived? Well, how I know that I've truly arrived in the presence of God is that with worship is that it becomes that Jesus Christ no longer died for the world, but He died for me. You see, and that's when you get into the place in worship where you are in the presence of God, your troubles, your pain, your sorrows, your hurt, your disappointments, all that, is left behind. It's left behind you. You can't take those things in the presence of God. You can go in with them, but then you can't come out with them, because when you're there, it just dissolves away. Another true sign that you're in the presence of God with worship, right, is the fact that God is love. Therefore, that love of God emanates through you, right? So you can't have hatred. You can't have animosity. You can't have any type of anything disgruntled towards anybody in the presence of God. It just won't work. There's no room for it. So the difference between praise, anybody can praise, right? And God said He inhabits the praises of His people. So praises is definitely necessary, right? But at the same time, worship, everybody can't worship. That's why in John 4:23, it said the Father, true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and truth. The Father seeketh such to worship Him. See, He's looking out. He's seeking, because not everybody can do it. He's seeking those who can truly worship Him. So that is your tailored word. I pray that you subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to talking to you again. And to then, stay blessed.